have we come to think about what are the reasons why we're here, or why we're here? What's the idea of being here? Do we understand what we're doing now? Because we're sensing, we're living, and we are experiencing so many changes. So do we have a task to do? And if we do, what is it? Do we know what that is? Do we know what a task is? Do we understand that we just have to work and do certain things and then go back home? And what's the reason why we're here? Have we come to think of it? Would be good if we do, huh? Reconnecting Souls for a Better Living. This is Ariel Zvi telling you, welcome, and I do hope we will be learning much today. Our guest is Marc Westertorp from Genuine Thunder. And welcome, first of all. And Marc, can we know what we're doing here?
Sure we do. Thanks, Ariel, for having me on again. Yeah, we absolutely do have a purpose why we came here. And if I don't know if some people, like, they watched the previous time that I spoke, but this is kind of a bit of a continuation to it. And so there is a reason that every single person's on this planet. It's not just by chance that people show up here and you're just born, because there's a lot of people, they don't understand that. Like, there's a lot of people that walk around and they're in this state of, you know, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I doing on this planet? Like, what's the meaning of life? And like all these questions, they rotate in their mind over and over again, and they're trying to seek these answers out. And you know, they go searching through books and everything else, and trying to find these answers for what they're trying to seek, that perplexes them. And the one place that they don't look is inside, because that's where the answer is for you. Because everybody that is on this journey that comes down into this physical world, they're all on a unique experience. There's no two journeys the same. Like, my journey is not the same as your journey. Yours isn't the same as the guy next to you or the girl next to him, or like, we're all different, right? We do have paths across. There are parallels. And so we do have occasions where, you know, things may be very similar to another individual. But yes, we are all unique, and it all starts back when, you know, it starts on spirit side. It doesn't start in the physical world. It starts when we are in our higher consciousness, when we are in our higher state of consciousness. So when we are still that ball of light, and we're, you know, we're still part of the one consciousness, still part of source consciousness. We work with our guides and teachers, and what happens is we become attracted to incarnation. And when we become attracted to incarnation, we decide that we want to come back into a physical world, or we can go into other worlds too, because there's different worlds that we can go to. It's not just this physical world, right? Spirit side, they have told us before that there's multiple worlds that you can choose to go to. If people think that this world, and there are some people that think that this planet Earth is the only planet that is inhabited, and that's sort of naive thinking, because the universe is vast. There's multiple worlds. There's entities on multiple planes. There's physical beings in other worlds. There's ethereal beings in other worlds. And there's some of these other worlds, or realms, or whatever you want to refer to them as. Some are ethereal also. So they only exist in a higher state of consciousness. They're not in a physical state of consciousness. And we choose which ones we want to go to for our learning and for our growth. So what happens is that when we are still on spirit side, we will we'll work with our guides and teachers, with our spirit guides and teachers, and we will be shown all these different scenarios all over these different worlds, and we will decide where we want to go that will best benefit us. Now, when we come down here, it's not always about us too, because we come down here to serve others, right? And that's part of our journey. It's not just about yourself. It's about serving others also. So it's about serving yourself and also serving others, but it's most important that we awaken to us in the process. So our guides and teachers will show us all these different scenarios, and then we ourselves, through our own higher consciousness, we will bring ourselves into physical manifestation if it's a physical world. We will bring ourselves into this physical manifestation, into this world like the one that we're on, and we will begin the journey. We begin the journey as the infant, and then we become the child, and then we become, you know, into the teen years, and then into the adult years, the young adult, and then we become into the adult years, and into the senior years. And, you know, we could be here for anywhere 80, 100 years, right? But, you know, that's a flash. That's a flash, just like that, right? We don't have a lot of time when we come down here. Right? Because if you know, remember from before when we spoke, there's no clocks and calendars on spirit side. They only exist in the physical world. Time doesn't exist in spirit side. So we have to be fully aware that when we come down here, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been doing this multiple times for thousands and thousands and thousands and possibly millions of years. I have no idea. I'm not even going to put a number on it. So we've been doing it for a very, very long time. And so all the memory of all those different incarnations that we've had to all the different worlds and into this physical world also, it's all part of our own higher consciousness, all our experiences and all the knowledge we gained and everything else. So when we come through and for our new incarnation, we have amnesia as part of the process, because amnesia allows us to create new. So we don't have the remembrance of all those other journeys, because these human forms are too fragile to remember everything from those previous lifetimes. Like, you know, trying to remember who all your previous husbands, wives, mothers, brothers, lovers, sisters, brothers, everybody that was in all those other lifetimes. The human form's too fragile to bring all that into this state of consciousness, and it just can't even hold it because it's just too vast, right? So our higher state of consciousness is in the full awareness of all those journeys and all the knowledge that we've attained and all the plans for our future also. Because remember, there's no time on spirit side. So on spirit side, everything, past, present, and future are all one. They exist as one because there is no time. So your state of consciousness of who you were in your previous lifetimes and who you were in your future lifetime, you are going to be in your future, right? This all exists as one. This is a difficult concept for some people to wrap their head around, but you have to remove the concept of time. So when, you know, this is how like spirit side will be able to work with some mediums, and they'll be able to relay different messages to people, and how they actually know the future. And then some of these people are like, wow, that did happen. You know, even though it may have been a year, 2 year, 5, 10 years later, you may have gotten a message from spirit side, and it's like, it happened, it occurred exactly the way they said it. How did they know that? Right? They know that because it's all part of the one consciousness, and they're connected in with that one consciousness, that we are also connected in with that one consciousness. So the amnesia that we have is extremely important when we come into this physical state of being, because the amnesia allows us to create a new experience for ourselves. So we can have an entirely new journey. And some of us will bring some of our behavior back from previous lifetimes because we're trying to correct it, or say we need to heal. Like say there was something very traumatic or damaging that happened to us in a previous lifetime. And what happens is that we may bring portions of that with us and it'll exist in our consciousness, and it's sort of, I want to describe this. It's like underlying into people's thoughts, that it's like, there's something that's within me that bothers me, or there's something that I'm holding that I know to release, or there's some knowledge that I have here and I don't know how I got this knowledge. Or even like, you know, you'll see like a 3 and 4 year old child that can already play the piano, right? And they're amazing. They're like concert pianists, right? And so how do they know this, right? How do they know these things? Because they're bringing it through in consciousness with them. It arrived here with them. So there are some people that will come into this physical world, and they will bring the gift of spirit communication with them. And I want to be careful not to call this a gift, because everybody has this. So nobody's special that has it. It's like everybody has the ability to do it. It's whether or not you're tuned into it. But some people do come into the world and they bring that with them, right? And so they have the ability to communicate with them because that's part of their journey. Some people may choose to do it later in life when they awaken. But the reason that they would bring this in is to help bring the awareness of the consciousness, the spirit side with them, right? And so that's part of their lessons and their journey. So as I mentioned previously, Everybody here on this planet has the ability to communicate with spirit side. You are your own spirit guide. Every one of us is our own spirit guide through our own higher consciousness. Okay, so you got to remember that your higher consciousness resides with you on your entire journey while you're down here, and your higher consciousness resides within your heart. That's where it's present. We communicate through our visual chakra, and we do the connection with our heart and our visual chakra, as we shown the last time we spoke. Right? So what people need to do if they want to be able to communicate with spirit side is they need to make that connection stronger within themselves, right? And nobody can do this for you, right? You can attend all the workshops and training sessions and everything else you want, read all the books you want, watch all the movies, do whatever. It may help give you some pointers or whatever to help get there, but ultimately you're not going to get there on your own, not going to get there following all these different routes, because many times what has happened is people end up confusing themselves. They have too many teachers. And when there's too many teachers, it creates confusion because you're getting the interpretation of that individual that you're working with at that time, right? So you have to be able to take the information that you're receiving from everybody all over the place, and you have to be able to take that knowledge and let it settle around you. Okay? And when you settle it around you, you pick out the pieces that speak to you. And so the bits of knowledge that speak to you, and then you send that up to higher consciousness, you send that up to source, and you see what comes back down for you and what works with you, because not everything is meant for you. Yours may be different from that individual over there. So we can't say that this person over here says this is the way to do it, this is the only way to do it. That's not so. Because everybody's unique and everybody has a different way of doing what's intended for their journey, right? So we have to be fully aware of our higher state of being so that we can connect into this. When we do that higher consciousness connection, what happens is it becomes stronger and more stable within us. So, and when it becomes stronger and more stable within us, we start to get the impressions from spirit side more, right? The most important spiritual gift that you can have is working with impression. An impression is the thoughts that enter into our mind. So remember before, we talked about the higher consciousness. When you ask your own higher consciousness certain questions, these thoughts will fall into your mind like a gentle leaf, right? And they'll enter into your thought processes, and then you will begin to learn because you'll feel the energy attached to it, right? And there is a certain energy attached to it. And the energy is separate from the physical, and you will begin to recognize when the energy is coming in through higher consciousness and when it's a physical thought, right? Because the physical thoughts many times will just distract us, because this people can't slow this down. They can't stop this. The mind chatter just keeps going and going and going and going. So they need a way to separate from this. The only way that you're going to separate from that is to take it to a higher consciousness level. When you're in a meditation and you are truly connected with source consciousness through your own higher consciousness, there's absolute silence. There's no thoughts in your mind at all. All thoughts are vanquished, and you're just into this higher state of energy. And now you're able to communicate with source consciousness directly in the silence. And it comes through in impressions, right? Some mediums will work with clairaudience. They will hear spirit speaking to them. Some people work with clairvoyance, so they can see spirit. And there's clairessence. Clairessence is when people can smell. So they'll have certain smells that will come to them from spirit side. These things are very easy for spirit side to do. Like you can have maybe a grandfather that used to smoke a pipe. And all of a sudden you're sitting there, working away or reading a book or something. All of a sudden you can smell grandpa's pipe, right? And what's that telling you? It's telling you grandpa's there. He's come to visit you, right? So he's there with you and he's come to visit you. But we have to be aware. So when these people come to visit us in previous lifetimes, like people, like the word death is a man-made word, and it's a word that instills fear. People live in such fear of death. And they really need to remove that, because it is just a man-made word. All we do is we continue life in a higher form of consciousness. And you got to imagine, like all of the previous people that have been here with us in this lifetime, that, where we had, grandparents or parents or, relatives or friends or whoever that have passed away before us. All they've done is they've gone on ahead of us. And so they've continued the journey in a higher state of consciousness ahead of us. We will get there in time too, and we will meet back up with them again. But you have to be into the awareness also that they have been doing these journeys for all of these lifetimes also. They've been going back tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, and they've been traveling with us. So there's a reason we're connected. There's a reason that you are with the people that are around you. You need to be aware of this, and everybody needs to be aware of this. There's people that cross your path for a reason. They're there because you already know them. You know them from higher states of being. And some people may just cross your path for a split second. Like you just may walk across the street and you just cross paths with another individual, but you feel this energy that moves between the two of you. So you already know each other from the spirit side. And some people will be very close with you. Like some people are there for you, with you for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And that's a very true statement. These people may come in temporarily, or they may just be there for a reason, or they're there with you for your whole journey. They're there from start to finish, but they're there for a reason, and people need to be aware of this. And people, people, they need to be aware of these things, that, all the different people that are around. It doesn't matter what they look like, because these people come on all different journeys. Some people may come in, they had a different skin color than yours, or they may have a different ability than you, or they may have some kind of medical condition, but underneath these meat suits that we all walk around in, we're all a ball of light. If we remove everything that we have, we're a ball of light, and we're that ball of consciousness. That is all that spirit side sees when they see us. They don't actually see these physical forms, because they choose not to see these physical forms. They would have to drop their vibration to see our physical forms. So instead, they see us for what our true self is, and our true self is that ball of light that we are. So people need to remove all of this, because when people walk around and with their racism and criticizing of everybody else, all they're doing is judging people. Right? They're just judging people, and they need to stop that, because every single time they do this, they drop their vibration, and their vibration goes lower and lower and lower and lower, and soon they become this. Right? So if you go seeking, if you go seeking fear, you will become fear. That will become you. You will be that. And that's how you will walk around. And then you're going to continue, you're going to have your entire journey this way. You're going to get back to spirit side, and you go, damn, I screwed up. I screwed up big time, because I wasn't supposed to do those things. So guess what? I'm attracted to incarnation. I'm coming back down into the world, because I need to go and fix what I did the last time. And so you're going to bring some tougher lessons for you next time. Because the next time the shoe may be on the other foot for you, because that may be the lesson that you need to go through. So people need to be realized. They need to be realizing the awareness of why they go through certain events in their life. Like some people may go through some very difficult events in their life, and it may be very troubling for them. But they got to realize too is that they may have brought that with them, because they needed to have that experience. And any time that we're going through, and especially over these last couple of years, there's been a lot of agitation in people, and they notice, and especially like coming into this year and the start of 2023, and there's been a lot of people that have been going through a lot of agitation. You'll see a lot of people that are having mental issues, or they're having like stress issues, anxieties, everything else. They can't sleep, and like they're having like medical conditions come on them or flare up or whatever else, and it has what this is, there's a massive shifting in consciousness going on right now on this planet. There's a huge shifting in consciousness going on this planet right now, and any time that we feel that agitation within, it's the resistance within us moving forward in that new state of consciousness. So you can choose to accept that energy when it comes and recognize it for what it is, and then move through it. Right? These things happen with everybody. I know some people that are very spiritually connected, and they are in the full awareness of these things, and they go through the same thing also. I go through the same thing also. I feel these energy shifts too, and they're agitating at times. But when when these shifts are coming and they're hitting us, that when you walk through it, and it's fairly quick, it's usually like a week or two, you walk through it, and all of a sudden you've gone to the next level. because you've changed in consciousness. You shifted out of the old and you've moved into the new consciousness because you decided to move with it. If you decide not to move with it, you're going to embrace that lower vibration and you're going to be stuck behind. So you're not going to move into the new consciousness. There is a tsunami of source consciousness rolling across this entire planet, right? And people are not aware of what's going on. This is the consciousness, and it's an awakening of the people that is occurring at this time in humanity. Okay, we all agreed to be here for this. Every single person that's on this planet right now agreed to be here at this time. Some people are going to go, whoa, I didn't pick this. I didn't pick this journey. It's like, no, no, no. Accept the journey that you chose, right? Once you begin to accept your journey, you're going to make your journey easier for yourself instead of fighting it. Because if you're going to keep fighting it, then you're just going to run into obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. So become into the awareness and the acceptance of where you are in the greater picture of things. And if you're having difficulty with certain things at this point in your life, like if there's things that are very troubling to you, or if you can't settle your mind, or you're feeling like a lot of stress and everything else, and you need healing, just you need to create that consciousness connection, that higher consciousness connection. And you need to connect with that higher state of being to allow your higher healing consciousness to come in and heal you, and to allow your higher thought consciousness to help you remove these thoughts. So you can start working with your higher thought consciousness, and you can ask your higher thought consciousness to remove these thoughts from my mind. I do not need them anymore. You will see some people, I've seen it like this. The thoughts were gone immediately, and it felt like there was a plug pulled out and the energy was gone, because the energy was taken away from you, because you finally decided to release that energy instead of holding on to it. Because there's a lot of people in this world that they do not heal because they will not allow themselves to move on from the pain that that is occurring within them, right? They won't allow themselves to move on because some people love that. They love that drama that's attached to it, or they love the fear attached to it, or whatever the reason is. Like some people, they just don't want to let it go because they don't want to change. They don't want to move into that higher state of being because, maybe they're afraid, or they're just in a comfort zone that they want to stay in this comfort zone, and they don't want to move out of this comfort zone. So what they will do is they will just stay there, and they will reject all these different states of consciousness coming to them, right? That are coming for them. And so what happens then is these people, like when people are trying to heal, there's a mistake that they make. Okay. And I'm not trying to make things right or wrong, but there's something that many people do. And I'm sorry, I don't want to call it a mistake, because it's just the awareness of the people. I'm not trying to make things right or wrong here. But what happens is that when people constantly relive the trauma that they have suffered in their past, they will never heal from it. So when you hear different groups and organizations, even, they will say, oh, never forget, we can't forget, we got to create this foundation, and we got to raise money and create this nonprofit and everything else, and we can't let the world forget about what happened and everything else. And it's like, nobody can heal when you're doing this, okay? Nobody can heal because you're making people relive the trauma that weren't even part of that trauma in many cases. So you're trying to impose trauma that occurred to other people onto other people, and you're trying to make it their problem when it wasn't even theirs to begin with, because they weren't even there. And so these people, the people that are involved with this, is like, yes, some of the situations they may have gone through in life, yes, they may have been horrible situations. Yes, not taking any of that away, but they need to heal. And part of their journey is they have to let it go, right? Because you cannot heal from trauma if you keep reliving the trauma over and over and over and over again, right? Because you cannot allow that thought to leave, and you're holding the energy. So you need to start working with that higher thought consciousness again, and asking the higher thought consciousness to start removing these thoughts from you. And eventually what you will see is these thoughts just disappear, and you'll forget about them completely. They'll be gone from your mind because you chose to make that decision to move forward. This is how people can heal better, right? And then these people can work with other people, and they can show them the way how they did it, and how they were able to heal their life and move on in the energy of what that was holding them back, right? So this is important because this is self-healing. And you don't want to bring this energy back to spirit side with you, because when you bring it back, then you have to heal from it on the other side, and it takes longer. This is why we come into the physical world, because all these things that we want to learn and grow and heal from, we can do it on spirit side if we choose. We don't have to come down to this physical world. We don't have to. There's nothing that says that we have to come down here. We choose to come down here because we can accomplish it a lot faster down here. It takes longer on spirit side to accomplish these things. You can do it all over there. It doesn't matter, right? It's your choice. But if you want to do it faster, you come down here, and then plus you're going to learn a lot more, and you're going to have fun while you're doing it, and you're going to it's going to be a nice journey for you, right? And you're going to have higher growth, and you're going to accelerate your growth. So this is the big reason to come into the awareness of what our journey is, right?
Which is the original name of the program today, the subject, absolutely, because sometimes we're so lost and that we have no clue what's going on, really. How do I understand that what I'm sensing, feeling, experiencing is fear? How can I understand that first, and then what to do with it? Because it paralyzes us, but we do not know that it is fear.
You feel it in your heart, because your higher consciousness, your spirit body, resides inside your heart. And when something comes to you and there's something that's around you, you will feel that drop in vibration in your heart very rapidly. And that's not a fear-based emotion. That's a vibration. It's a low vibration, and it's like, no, I don't want this vibration around me. Send this away. Get this away from me, right? So you have to constantly stay in that higher state of consciousness and that higher vibration, right? And that spirit side, over the last year, they've been asking that, they've been asking us. They said, all we're asking you is to keep your vibration high. That's all we're asking you. Keep your vibration high. Right. And so this is important. It's important what you consume in your mind, what you consume in your mouth, too, the food you're eating, because the food you're eating, there's a lot of contamination. Processed foods are garbage. Right. People shouldn't be eating processed factory foods. They are all garbage. They're damaging to the body. They will drop your vibration. They will cause obstacles into the energy flowing through your body. They will bring sickness upon you. People need to eat healthy, organic foods, right? They need to eat healthy foods. Make sure that there's no pharmaceuticals in them or chemicals inside these foods that you're consuming, because that's damaging to the body, right? And it has a detrimental effect to people being able to heal, right? And so when you do encounter these vibrations, you will begin to feel it. Like when you become more connected with your own higher state of consciousness, you become more sensitive to the energy. So the more you connect with higher consciousness, and I'm saying, like, doing this on a daily basis, connecting and becoming it, because it's walking the talk, right, is what it is. So it's becoming it and connecting with that higher state of consciousness. And what'll happen is you become a lot more sensitive to it. So to the point that you can cross paths with somebody in, walking down the aisle in a grocery store, and you could feel their energy, good and bad, right? Good and bad. So you can feel like if that person's got some bad energy to them, right? And you can just feel it. You don't even have to talk to them. You don't even have to look at them. You'll just feel that energy moving past you, because it's out of sync, right? It's out of sync with your vibration. And so you will know, but you'll also feel these people that have that wonderful vibration to them, right? Because there's many people like that. There's many people around that they're just such positive, wonderful people that you want around all the time. You feel comfortable with them.
Sorry for cutting you off. How can I get more sensitive in order to sense exactly what you're explaining as that we are capable of sensing?
You have to keep raising in consciousness every single day. Like I showed the last time, doing that higher consciousness connection, right? You have to keep doing that multiple times a day, because what happens is that becomes stronger and more stable the more you do it. So the more often you call your higher consciousness forward to come and assist with all your words, thoughts, actions, and deeds, then what happens is your vibration starts rising higher and higher. Meditation is the other one. Meditation is important to people. It's important to physical beings, because meditation is very healing, because meditation is getting you connected in with the energy and the healing from source consciousness, because you can just feel that you're just enveloped in all of this energy that comes around you, right? And it just completely surrounds you in your entire state of being. So you're getting all this healing energy coming from spirit side that's coming with you while you're in meditation. Your vibration rises higher and higher. And like I said, when you're truly connected with source consciousness, there's no thoughts here at all. Your mind's blank, right? There's no thoughts there. And that's a good thing, because now you're not creating the obstacles, because it's the thoughts that create the obstacles that allow us to connect in meditation and allow us to connect to that higher vibration. So you have to keep your thoughts positive too. So people have trouble with this, right? So, they may, maybe driving really upsets them, and, like they're all flustered, and, they want to lash out at people because they're angry over something that occurred or whatever. But, they have to just realize they have to pull themselves back and go, no, send that thought off. Don't think that way. Right. And you have to say these words to yourself. It's like, don't think that way. Remove these thoughts. Right. And you can ask your higher consciousness, I don't want these thoughts. Please remove them from me. They will go. They will go away. They will distract you, because some people will sit there, like they may have an encounter with an individual, and they will walk away, and for weeks on end, they will just sit there stewing over that situation, that one situation, and it'll churn in their mind over and over and over and over again. Right. And it's just destroying their bodies. Right. It's damaging, like physically damaging to the bodies, and it's dropping their vibration the whole time, and it's dropping the thought processes in the body. So you have to stop yourself from this. And if you can't stop yourself, and I know this is difficult because I worked with people that have done it, and we've all encountered it at one time or another, all of us, right? And I've worked with many different people doing this, but you have to keep working with your higher thought consciousness. Because remember, there's 3 states of the higher consciousness that are always with us: the higher consciousness, the higher healing consciousness, the higher thought consciousness. So you're asking the higher thought consciousness to remove these thoughts from your mind. Please remove these thoughts from my mind. I do not want them. They don't serve me. Right? And you just keep saying it over and over again. The thoughts will go. They will leave. You will move out of that consciousness and out of that energy, and you will self-heal. Remember, we came here with all the tools that we need for this journey. Every spiritual tool that we need, we arrived on this planet with. It's here with us. So we're going to dig into our tool bag. These are some of the tools that are in our tool bag. Right? So we have our higher healing consciousness. So if you're having a day and you're totally frazzled, just like close your eyes and start raising your vibration up. And what you can do is a very simple way for people, that haven't learned how to meditate yet, is that you can go into a quiet area, and you can put on some background music if you want, but don't put anything with lyrics in it, right? So you have to just use something that's like just a background tone, right? So like anything that's calming and peaceful to you is what it is, right? And so you need something calming and peaceful. And then what you need to do is you need to you sit quietly, and you close your eyes, and you move your vision to the middle of your forehead, and you send the thoughts out from the middle of your forehead, because this is how you're going to communicate with spirit side, right? And then what you do is you visualize that you're rising higher and higher and higher out of your body, and you just visualize your this higher state of consciousness within you, your spirit body, reconnecting back with source consciousness, and you visualize that you're getting higher and higher up, so that you can look down and you can actually see yourself sitting there. So you're up above looking down at yourself sitting there, and you just keep rising up into this consciousness until you get into the silence. And then when you get into the silence, and you vanquish all thoughts out of your mind, so all thoughts disappear, and then you get into the silence, and now you can listen to source, and you'll be able to communicate with source. And it doesn't matter if you hear anything. It doesn't matter if you see anything. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you raised yourself into this vibration, that you can allow the source energy to start working with you. And source will work with you in the way that you need it, not the way that you think you need it. They know better than we do. Stop trying to control them, right? And don't even attempt to control them, because you will fail. I'll guarantee that, right? So, and people that want to try and control it, they're going to do it the hard way, and they're going to take longer. So what you do is you just allow source to work with you, and allow that healing energy to flow back and forth through you. And then when you're finished these meditations, you come back down. You visualize yourself floating back down into your physical body. And then you'll just stay there in this state of peace And so what you're doing is you are bringing you're using these tools within your toolkit to help you connect back with home. People love this energy because it's so familiar to them, because it's where we come from, right? This is why it's very healing to them. And that's all we're doing, is we're just reconnecting with home. And so when you start working with the higher thought consciousness, and you start working with the higher healing consciousness, and you start doing meditation, you can start raising your vibration. And the more you do this, the stronger and more stable this becomes. And the more you connect, the more you open yourself up, that your higher consciousness now will start working with you. And your spirit guides, which are always around us still, they're always there. Our spirit guides never leave us, even though, even though they may come and go, and we'll have different ones that'll come at different times, they're always there with us, and you will start to hear them too. And I'm not saying that you're going to hear them in your ears. Some will hear them in their ears. They will get clear audience. They will hear it in their ears, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Some will see. So they will see spirit entities, or they will see energy moving around them, or out of the corners of their eyes, they will see people walking around them in their homes and stuff like this, or they'll see balls of light everywhere, right? And some people, but like I said, the most important one is working with impression, because the impression is the thoughts that come, because the thoughts from spirit side come in energy form. And that is how spirit entities communicate with each other. They communicate through energy. They don't speak. Speaking is a low vibration. They communicate ethereally, right? So what we're doing when we raise this vibration now is we're communicating ethereally back home with our guides and teachers, and with our own higher state of consciousness, and with source consciousness, right? And we have to remember, we're all one. Nobody's unique on spirit side. We are all one. One knowledge, one voice, one thunder. We're all one. We speak as one voice. We come as one voice. I can't even tell you how many times spirit I've heard them say that. We come as one. We are one, right? And they're telling us that we are one. So even us in this physical form, we are one. We are all connected. This is why when I say things like people need to drop judgment of each other, because all they're doing is criticizing themselves, because we are one. Right? And so they need to raise that vibration and come out of those lower energies. There's no judgment on spirit side. They don't judge anybody. Right? It doesn't matter what you did, or what you did in this world, or whatever. The spirit side doesn't judge you. There's healing. There's understanding, is what there is. Only in human form is there judgment. It doesn't exist there. So we need to be aware. And, this is part of people's healing also. There's some people, there's some entities when they cross over, when they die on this side and they cross over, they won't even go back through the light, because they're ashamed of what they did in this world. So they will wander around in this suspension in between the physical world and the spirit realm, where we come from. And they won't go through that light because they're ashamed of it, even though they should go through that light. Some are scared to go through that light because of what they've done, right? So they're scared to go back through that light because they think that because their religion taught them that they're going to be, you're going to be going to hell, and this is going to happen, and all this. That's all nonsense. That's all nonsense, right? You're not going to be punished in all this. Like there's you got to imagine, like, in this physical world, like, they take people that, that commit crimes and stuff, and all they do, what do they do with them? They throw them in a prison cell and they throw them away. They don't offer them any healing to try and understand why they did these things in the first place, or, what happened. And it's like, to give them the opportunity to try and heal from this process. No, they just discard them because it's easier for them this way. But they're human beings too. They come from the same place we do. They made a bad mistake, a very bad mistake, some of them. But it doesn't mean that they don't deserve healing. They all do, right? So when they go back through spirit side, everybody can go back through the light, because we all came from the light. There's no such place as hell. It doesn't exist. Hell only exists in the minds of people that think it. It doesn't exist. I asked that many, many years ago from spirit side. Does hell exist? They said, they replied back to me. They said, you're in it. The choice is yours. You can make your journey heaven or you can make it hell. It's your choice, right? But there's no place with, pits of fire and everything else. That's all man-made. That's nonsense, right? And people need to move away because that's just fear. People will tell you that to instill fear in you, and people instill fear because they want to control you, right? That's the only reason people instill fear in others, is because they're trying to control you. There's no other reason for it. So you got a choice. You got a choice in this world. When you walk in this world, you got a choice. You can embrace the love that we are in our higher state of consciousness, or you can embrace the fear of the lower vibrations of this world. There's no room when the other is present. There's no room for this one when this one's present. You have to make a choice. You can't have them both. They can't exist together. So which one do you choose, right? If you choose to embrace the love that you are, you're going to raise in that vibration. You're going to have greater health in your life. You're going to start to heal yourself. You're going to have a greater understanding. You're going to be able to communicate with spirit side. You're going to allow that energy to move through with you, right? And you're going to have a lot more clarity in your thoughts. The higher you raise in consciousness, the more clarity you will have in your thoughts. Could you imagine if the scientists of this world actually started connecting with higher consciousness and stopped playing with all the little doodads in the physical world instead and connecting with higher consciousness? Spirit side will start showing them how to invent the things that have been hidden from us, that were already here many, many, many years ago. They've been here a very long time. There's technologies on this world that go back eons of time that are far superior to anything that is here now. And so this technology can come back to any of those that choose to open up to it and to start working with it. They will start working with you, right? But you're not going to get there unless you raise in that consciousness, right? And you have to do it yourself. Nobody can do this for you. It's all on you. It's your own responsibility. We are personally responsible for our own states of being. Nobody else is, right? It's all on us. And so if we fail in that, we only have ourselves to blame. But again, there is no failure. So people can't think of it that way, because if they think that they failed, then they're gonna put themselves into that lower vibration. So they got to think, no, we got to try it again. Even spirit side, they've tried to bring, like I spoke earlier about this raising in vibration and consciousness that's moving across this planet right now, right? And spirit side themselves even said that we've been tried this many lifetimes, and many lifetimes we tried to bring certain things in, but they're going to be occurring in this lifetime with many of us, right? Because even they made mistakes along the way. So not everything is perfect. Right? Not everything is perfect, because everybody's in a learning path. Everybody's growing, right? And we're all working together. So the key is in this world, we need to start working together, recognizing and coming into the awareness that we are all one. We are all one. We all come from one consciousness. We exist as one. And it doesn't matter where we are on the planet, doesn't matter where we are in the universe. We are all one. And we can communicate with everybody. And the healing and raising their vibration, raising our consciousness, I can't stress enough to everybody. It's so important for us.
Thank you so very much. And yes, what a task we've got ahead, but we can accomplish many more things that we could even think. Or maybe we don't even think about them, but yes, we can do much. One question among others that I've got, but we're gonna call it a day. But is there a special time when those who have left come to visit us?
No, they can come anytime. A lot of times they'll come in our dreams. They'll come in our dreams because people can't slow their mind down, so they don't hear them. And so they will come and visit you in your dream instead, because now your physical mind isn't blocking it. So they will come at that time. Or they will, many times they're there through the day with you. They will just come and go. They'll just pop in and out, and they're spirit entities. In spirit form, we're omnipresent, which means that we can be in multiple places at one time. Right. So you often hear the term universal spirit guide. And you'll hear some of these guides will come in, they'll say they're a universal guide. Right. And some people think that, you know, well, that's my spirit guide, nobody else has them. And it's like, no, they're universal, they work multiple, and they are omnipresent. So they can be working with multiple levels of consciousness, right? With multiple different entities in physical and spirit form, all at the same simultaneously, all at the same time. There's this omnipresence to it. There's this magnificence to it, right? They can communicate. They told me that, you know, they can tell you that, you know, that my father told me that on spirit side, and he died many years ago, but he told me, he goes, it's great over here. He goes, I can go from one side of the world to the other just like that. He goes, it's so instant, right? He goes, you can travel just at the speed of light. So it's magnificent, and they're around. Like I've had people, I've communicated with people from that were around, like back in the 1970s, and you know, around in then that I knew then. They've come back like 30-40 years later, and they're still coming to visit you, right? They're always around us. Even people from other lifetimes and people that we knew in previous lifetimes, they still come to visit you, right? Because it's still part of that one consciousness.
As you clearly said, we are one. And when you say we, you mean all of us, right? Wow, what a program. Thank you so very much for being here with us, for bringing us some light. This is another program that I'll probably watch 2 or 3 times in order to get all that you said. And if somebody wants to reach you, how can they reach you, Marc?
The best way is through my website. Just go to genuinethunder.com, and there's a contact page there, and that's the easiest way to reach me. You can, there's all the links to social media and everything are on the website, so that's the best way.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here with us. And I hope that in a few days or in a few weeks, we will be having you also, and also Ted, but we'll see how that works, right?
Yeah, I'll have a chat with them. We'll see how it goes.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for being with us. This was Reconnecting Souls for a Better Living, Healing Arts Academies, Reconnecting Souls for a Better Living. If you have questions, please let us know. And if you like these kind of programs, let me know also, because I know we're learning much. Thank you so very much, Marc, for being with us.
Great. Thanks for having me, Ariel.
My pleasure. Thank you all. Until next time. This is Ariel Zvi saying, be seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.